Just enjoy and listen to, and have a fun of it.
Hello, everyone. Just have fun. This is Dexter and Claire from Story Radio Station.
Hey there. And if you want to get smart about important stuff, but easily, and maybe even have a little fun, definitely hit subscribe, like, and ring that bell. It really helps us out.
So today we've picked a topic that feels, well, really timely. We've been seeing a lot of chatter lately, performance updates from the big Korean shipbuilders.
Right.
And it kind of begs the question, what's the next big thing for them? Where's the future growth?
Exactly. And we think the answer is actually right here in the area we're diving into today. This isn't just the usual commercial stuff. We're talking about maritime MRO, that's maintenance, repair, and overhaul.
MRO.
And this specific sector. It looks very, very likely to become a massive future growth engine, a real aja, as they say in Korea, for their shipbuilding industry.
Gotcha. So that's our mission for this deep dive then. We're going to unpack how Korea is basically stepping up with this huge strategic solution for a really critical problem the U.S. is facing right now, and how this whole situation is kind of launching Korean shipbuilders right into the center of the global defense market.
Okay, so to really get why this partnership is such a big deal, you got to start with the big picture, the geopolitics.
Right.
The official U.S. national security strategy, it points to China as the, quote, speed-determining challenge, the pacing challenge.
The determining challenge. Okay.
And when you look at the map, the Indo-Pacific, it's huge. So naval power, keeping those ships ready, it's just absolutely critical for America's security going forward.
And this is where the numbers just, well, they kind of hit you. Naval power often comes down to simple math, right? How many ships you got?
Yeah.
So right now, 2024, the U.S. Navy has around 295 ships, give or take.
But the Chinese Navy, the plan, they're already past that. They got 370 ships.
Wow.
And the projections say they'll hit 400 pretty soon. So the U.S. has this urgent need just to boost readiness, make every ship count just to try and balance out that numbers gap.
Okay, so they need more readiness, but there's a problem, a big one.
A fundamental one. It's a structural crisis, really. The U.S. Maritime Industrial Base, the MIB, it's been neglected for decades, seriously underfunded.
And that leads to?
All the predictable issues. Costs spiraling out of control, huge delays in getting ships delivered or repaired, and just not enough capacity to do the work.
And it's not just about building new ships, is it? It's fixing the ones they already have.
Exactly. Those 4 big public naval shipyards in the U.S., they're starving for investment. The backlog, just for fixing up their own facilities, has shot up by over $1.6 billion in just the last 5 years.
$1.6 billion just in deferred maintenance.
Yeah, the pile just keeps getting bigger.
Okay, but they are trying to fix it, right? There was that program.
Ah, yes. Shipyard Infrastructure Optimization Program, SIOP, kicked off in 2018. Sounds good, right?
Optimize.
Yeah, sounds efficient. Well, it's already hitting major delays, and the costs, they're doubling or worse.
Doubling. Give me an example.
Okay, get this. There's a dry dock project, Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. The initial estimate was around $528 million.
Okay, $500 million? Steep, but maybe doable.
It is now ballooned to $2.2 billion.
Wait. From $500 million to over $2 billion for one dry dock.
Yep.
That's not optimization. That's wow. Okay. All right. But here's where, for me anyway, it gets really interesting. The crumbling buildings are bad, sure. But the biggest failure, it feels like it's the people problem. America just can't seem to hire or keep the skilled workers they need.
Oh, the stats are just brutal. Look, the overall attrition rate for shipyard workers is hovering around 20, maybe 22%.
Which is already pretty high.
Right. But for the really critical skills like welding, it jumps to over 30%. Over 30.
That's unsustainable.
And they try recruiting, they spend money on campaigns, but then 50 to 60% of the new people they hire leave within the first year.
Half of them. Why? What's going on?
Well, you could probably guess. The conditions are tough, it's hot, it's cold, it's dirty work.
Okay.
And the pay, it just doesn't stack up.
Yep.
Entry level might be around, say, $21 an hour.
Which isn't minimum wage, but...
But you look at other jobs, maybe less demanding, non-industrial work. Like in some places, fast food is paying $18 an hour now, maybe more.
So you're saying a skilled welder could potentially make almost as much, or maybe even more, flipping burgers.
In an air-conditioned place, yeah. It sounds absurd, but that's basically the situation. It's an industrial collapse driving a national security problem.
And the direct result of all this is what? A fleet that can't get fixed.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You get this chronic maintenance backlog. It just kills fleet readiness. We saw it clearly between, 2014 and 2019, big delays for carriers, surface ships, subs.
Ships stuck in port when they should be out there.
Exactly. Less available, right when the U.S. needs them most. They've really got their backs against the wall.
Okay, so the U.S. is in a real bind. Infrastructure failing, workforce leaving.
And that's the moment Korea steps onto the scene. They saw this crisis not just as, America's problem, but as a huge opportunity.
An opportunity how?
To strengthen the alliance, yes, but also, let's be honest, to secure their own economic future in a big way. And the proposal they put forward, it had this cheeky name.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
Make America Shipbuilding Great Again. MASGA.
MASGA. Okay, that's bold. A bit tongue-in-cheek, maybe.
Maybe, but the substance behind it was deadly serious. It was far from a joke.
All right, so quantify it. What did MASGA actually promise?
Okay, get ready for this number. Korea proposed a massive investment fund totaling $350 billion in U.S.-owned companies.
$350 billion. That's huge.
And within that, $150 billion was specifically earmarked for shipbuilding and marine sector revitalization.
$150 billion just for ships. How big is that in context?
Put it this way. $150 billion is roughly two-thirds of South Korea's entire annual government budget, all focused on fixing America's shipbuilding mess.
Wow. Okay, so that's not just a business proposal. That's a major political statement.
It's a profound commitment, political and economic.
So the idea is Korea helps the U.S. plug this critical security hole, the MRO crisis, and in return, they basically get a foot or maybe a whole leg into the very lucrative, very protected U.S. defense market.
That's the strategic logic, exactly. A classic win-win, potentially.
Well, okay, let's quickly recap part one. The U.S. shipbuilding base is kind of falling apart, old facilities, can't keep workers, a real crisis.
A triple threat, yeah.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, labor, delays.
And then Korea comes in with this, frankly, astonishing offer, SGA. $150 billion pledged just for shipbuilding and marine sectors.
A massive...
Good evening, and welcome to the Story Radio Station, where we explore tales from around the world.
Invention.
Okay, so now, part two. Let's look at what Korea actually brings to the table. What makes them think they can fix this?
Well, this is where you see Korea's massive competitive advantage. I mean, they are the undisputed global leader in commercial shipbuilding, period.
Right, we hear about the big three all the time.
HD Hyundai Heavy Industries, Hanwha Ocean, Samsung Heavy Industries.
Yeah.
Together, their capacity is just enormous. They can build over, 220 ships every year?
220 ships a year, and the U.S. commercial share is?
Globally, it's tiny, like 0.13%.
0.13% versus Korea's massive output. Okay, the scale difference is just hard to grasp.
It's breathtaking.
Yeah.
And it's not just the scale, it's how they build. Efficiency.
With the modular construction.
Exactly. Advanced modular construction methods. And crucially, for the U.S. Navy right now, they have an excellent track record for on-time delivery.
Which directly tackles that U.S. problem of delays and cost blowouts.
Precisely. Korea offers a proven working model, a solution that's already up and running.
Okay, so they have the capability. Where does the work actually start? How do they begin this cooperation?
It really starts with MRO, the repair work, mainly because of geography. Think about it.
Okay.
You've got U.S. ships deployed all across the Indo-Pacific, huge distances. It's just not practical strategically to sail them all the way back to the U.S. mainland or even just to Guam every time they need repairs.
Right. Takes too long, leaves a gap.
Exactly. So Korea offers that essential logistical depth right there in the theater of operations. Makes perfect sense.
But isn't there a legal issue? Doesn't U.S. law restrict foreign ship repair for the Navy?
Good point. Yes, there is. Specifically, it's Title 10 U.S. Code Section 8680. It generally says Navy combat ships have to be repaired in U.S. yards.
So how do they get around that?
Well, the initial focus, very cleverly, is not on the combat ships like destroyers or cruisers. It's on the Military Sealift Command auxiliary ships.
The USNS ships, the support vessels.
Exactly. The tankers, the supply ships, the ones with the blue and gold stripes.
Yeah.
They're technically non-combatants.
And they fall under different rules.
Often, yes. There are key exceptions. For example, if the maintenance takes less than, say, 21 days, or if repairs are needed due to hostile action, it provides a legal pathway.
Okay, so it's like a strategic entry point. Use the auxiliaries to prove you can do the job reliably and efficiently.
Precisely. Lower risk, demonstrates capability, builds trust.
So has it worked? Did that $150 billion promise actually translate into contracts? Are Korean yards fixing U.S. ships now?
Oh, absolutely. The track record is already being built. Hanwha Ocean, for instance, they successfully completed a pretty complex 7-month overhaul in ROH on the USNS Wally Shira.
A TAKE supply ship, right?
That's the one. Big job, handled well, proved they could do it.
And that opened the door.
Seems like it. Because after that MASGA proposal really got attention, HD Hyundai Heavy Industries landed its first MRO contract for the USNS Alan Shepard.
Okay, so HHI gets in the game too.
And then Hanwha Ocean picked up more work contracts for the USNS Yukon and the USNS Charles Drew.
So it's becoming routine almost.
It's establishing a clear pattern. U.S. is now, actively relying on Korean yards for essential maintenance of its logistics fleet in the Pacific. And these successes, they're paving the way for something bigger.
Deeper integration.
Exactly. And the next big step, legally and politically, is finalizing the U.S.-Korea Reciprocal Defense Procurement Agreement, the RDP.
RDP. Okay, what does that do?
Once that's fully signed off, Korea officially becomes a qualifying country, meaning they can largely bypass those restrictive Buy American rules for defense contracts. It gives them formal, sustained access to U.S. defense R&D, MRO programs. The works. It's a game changer.
And is cooperation already moving beyond just fixing existing ships?
Yes, definitely. We're seeing movement into joint R&D. HD Hyundai, for example, is teaming up with America's biggest defense shipbuilder, Huntington Ingalls Industries, HII.
Partnering up on what?
They're co-designing the next-generation logistics ship, the NGLS. These are meant to be smaller, more agile support ships, designed specifically for how the U.S. expects to operate in the Pacific, more spread out, more flexible.
So Korean design input on future U.S. Navy vessels, that's significant.
It is. And then there's the direct investment angle, which is maybe the most powerful symbol of this whole MASGA idea.
You mean buying a U.S. shipyard?
Exactly. In 2024, Hanwha Ocean actually acquired the Philly Shipyard in Pennsylvania.
Bought an American yard. Wow.
And they announced plans for a massive $5 billion upgrade to that facility.
$5 billion just to upgrade Philly Shipyard.
That's the plan. It's about directly transferring that Korean efficiency, those modular construction techniques, right into the American industrial base. It's MASGA in action.
Okay, this is clearly a huge strategic shift. But it's all happening, as you said earlier, with China watching very closely.
Oh, absolutely. This whole strategy, let's be clear, it's explicitly designed to help counter China's enormous industrial scale, particularly in the maritime sphere.
And that scale difference, remind us again.
It's honestly frightening. China's commercial shipbuilding capacity is estimated around 23.25 million gross tons.
Okay. And the U.S.?
Less than 100,000 tons.
So China's capacity is like 232 times bigger.
Roughly, yeah. It's a staggering difference. And militarily, China is aiming for 475 warships by 2035, and they're building almost everything themselves.
So has China reacted to this U.S.-Korea cooperation?
They have, and it's interesting how they reacted this time compared to previous disputes. Remember the TSAD missile defense system deployment back in 2016-17?
Yeah, China hit Korean companies hard, right? Lottie stores, tourism, consumer stuff.
Right. Broad economic pressure, targeting consumer industries. This time, it's different. China has specifically sanctioned Hanwha's U.S. subsidiaries.
Naming name.
Explicitly naming Hanwha Ocean USA LLC, for example. Why? For supporting U.S. shipbuilding efforts.
So it's not a general boycott. It's a surgical strike aimed directly at the defense supply chain cooperation.
Exactly. It shows they see the strategic significance of this move. But Korea seems determined. They've clearly chosen strategic alignment with the U.S., even with this risk.
How are they managing that risk?
Diversifying trade, relying on the alliance, basically betting that solidarity works. The key thing for you, the listener, to understand is that this shipbuilding partnership, it's not some niche business deal anymore. It's right at the heart of the U.S.-Korea security alliance now.
Okay, so pulling it all together, we've seen how this MRO partnership is becoming this fundamental integration of two major industrial powers. Korea is providing something the U.S. desperately needs: immediate operational readiness for its fleet, especially in the Pacific.
Which is critical, given the geopolitical climate.
And at the same time, Korea is securing this huge foundational role, not just fixing ships, but potentially designing and maintaining future U.S. naval platforms. It's a calculated risk for them, sure, but potentially a massive growth engine.
Absolutely necessary, you could argue, for their industry's future.
So the final thought, where does this go next?
Well, like you said, the focus right now, legally and practically, is on those logistics ships, the auxiliaries.
Right.
But for this alliance to really get the maximum benefit, to truly boost the readiness of the U.S. Navy where it operates? The next logical step, and maybe the most complex one, is finding a way to get combat ships serviced quickly in theater.
You mean like a U.S. destroyer or frigate pulling into a Korean yard for urgent repairs?
Exactly. Imagine that RDP agreement is fully signed. A U.S. destroyer needs work done, fast, and it's operating near Korea. What happens then? What legal hurdles need clearing? What political agreements need to be made? That's the really tricky next phase of this whole partnership, getting combatants into those highly capable Korean yards.
A fascinating challenge indeed. Something to keep an eye on. Okay, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Claire and I will be back soon with another topic to hopefully pique your curiosity.
And hey, before you go, please do remember, subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. It really does help.
Thanks, everyone.